Okay, so onto our temperate grasslands very quickly. All right, so onto page 124 up here at the top. All right, um, I've highlighted temperate grasslands, so cooler climate than the tropical region. We should know that. Okay, I've also circled this word steppes and this word prairies. Now, these are just other names for temperate grasslands. Okay. Again, we'll look at the different locations or regions around the world and we'll fill in that on our worksheet. Right? So, probably being created as a response to repeated burning caused by summer lightning or natives clearing the land for agriculture and grazing. So, just like our tropical grasslands, these were historically probably caused in the same way. Okay, woodland was cut down for building materials, for fuel wood. The land was cleared for farming. There could be naturally caused fires, and it's just grasses left. All right, I'll show you some pictures of this in the PowerPoint. What is important though, the main differences from the tropical grasslands are: one, grasses are much shorter here. Okay, grasses are more nutritious here. There are virtually no trees involved in the temperate grasslands at all, whereas the tropical grasslands will have some trees. Again, I'll show you in the PowerPoint. The winters are much colder and rainfall less even in summer. So there's less rainfall here, okay? And now, North America, they're called prairies, all right? Where there's weather and the grass goes up to about 3 feet. So 3 feet is about about the height of one of our desks in school, all right? So again, that's very simple temperate grasslands. We're going to again look at the human impact of our temperate grasslands. We'll use farming as another example. So if I just move down, we're not going to look at this whole big diagram, but in our grasslands, I want to have cleared for cereals, maize and wheat. Again, maize is corn. I've added in 3 more: barley, oats and rye. Alright, so they're the main kind of crops that were grown in these grasslands. The temperate grasslands are especially good for growing different crops, alright? So that's why all of this stuff gets grown there. Going to scoot on to page 125. Okay, on to page 125 up here, okay? I know this is a little bit blurry for you, but you can highlight all of that. And again, here I've written human impact. So just like we looked at the Sahel region for the tropical grasslands, we're going to look at this example here of agriculture in the temperate grasslands. All right. So after the grasslands of the American plains or prairies, they became vulnerable to wind erosion. All right. Huge dust storms ravaged the plains and created something called the Dust Bowl. So these areas were used to grow lots of crops and then got destroyed, okay, by again trying to produce too much food too quickly. So when we look at agriculture in the plains, so this is our example, our human impact on the temperate grasslands, okay? So we can compare this with our tropical impacts, our human impact on the tropical areas. So the USA was invaded by the European settlers, all right, years and years ago, who thought they could grow wheat and crops on the fine soils. All right, but when the dry years came, the soils began to blow away, being light and dry and no longer covered by grass. The result was catastrophic Dust Bowl, where millions of tons of soil was blown away, farms were buried, and the landscape was ruined. All right. So again, that's another example of bad human impacts on these fragile grasslands. Just one last thing on our grasslands before we move on. Okay, let me just move that. Steppes in Asia. Okay, so temperate grasslands are called prairies in North America and Canada, steppes in Asia, pampas in Argentina, and veldts of South Africa. Okay, so we'll look at those names in a little bit. I've just written out beside those different names for temperate grasslands. Okay, so going to scoot on fairly quickly. Deciduous, the forests are pretty straightforward, and we've got a worksheet as well information sheet we look at, which again gives you plenty of information about the forest types. All right, so they're best known in Europe and North America are deciduous forests. All right, the word deciduous here I've circled, and I've drawn a little line down to this bit that's underlined, which is actually the definition. So let's have a look. Deciduous trees receive enough rainfall to grow all year round, but the winters are too cold for them to do so, and the result is that the leaves die and fall off in the fall or in the autumn. So you can circle deciduous and draw a line around here. So a deciduous tree is one that will lose its leaves in the fall and in winter. Okay. They're then dormant until temperatures rise again. Dormant, we don't need a definition. You just need to, it's like sleeping. Okay, so they lose all their leaves and then they kind of hibernate almost for the cold season. All right. We're going to skip on to page 126 and 127, and then we're finished with the textbook. Okay, just a short bit on 126. All right. So in the deciduous forest, trees have great commercial value. So above that, you can draw $1 or €1 or a British pound. Okay, they can be sold for a lot of money. All right, and they've been used. So what are the uses? Shipbuilding, furniture, housing, roofing, railways, all sorts of stuff. Okay, transport, household uses. Then some examples. Highlight oak. Okay, the most famous example: the beech tree, the chestnut tree, the maple tree. Many of these plants have edible fruit or nuts, and in the case of the maple tree, syrup. Alright, so they don't just provide building materials and things like that, they can also provide a lot of nuts and foods for people to consume as well. So that's our deciduous trees. As you can see over here on the next page, 127, there's a short little paragraph about coniferous, and we're just going to finish up with that in this video. Okay, so look, as you can see, 127, coniferous. Alright, these trees look very similar, and they have the classic Christmas tree appearance for most conifers. Alright, so coniferous forest, if you look at your photo down at the bottom of the page, you'll note how all the trees look pretty much identical. Alright, they're like the Christmas tree shape. So, oops, if I could just fix that. Alright, so now these trees have to withstand long periods of low temperatures. They're usually found in cold regions and cannot afford to be without leaves that long. Alright, the conifer has evolved, again adapted, a needle-shaped leaf that can work all year round to absorb sunlight, warmth, and water wherever it is available. Alright, these needles also hold on to water very well. They don't lose a lot of water because they're so small. So I have it here, conifers, also called evergreen trees. They don't lose their leaves. And that's the big difference between coniferous forest and deciduous forest. Deciduous do lose their leaves, whereas conifers do not. Okay, again, just 3 little examples. Spruces are the most common, firs and pines. Right, they're the most common types. All right, so again, you find a lot of these in places like Russia and Canada and Alaska and so on. All right, I'm going to stop just there very quickly, and I'm going to do one more video which will run through a information sheet and a PowerPoint, which will again just help you add some notes and keywords. Okay.